honest. So I've been going through trouble on the home front, and I'm sure that you can hear that I don't sound so well. I probably look about the way I feel, which is exhausted, tired. I feel like a shell of a person who's trying to gain back their energy. And a lot's been going on. A lot. So I wanted to run a video, and probably all the people that I want to hear it are not going to hear it. And all the people that need to hear it won't hear it. The people I want to hear it won't hear it. There's a woman with the first name Susan, and her last name starts with a C. I know about 10 different Susans, and I don't want my other 9 Susans to think I'm talking about them, but there's this one Susan. Her last name starts with a C, and I'll tell you what, the way she spoke to me on my face on Facebook and the crap she said, I left it public and I just went, wow. This woman is taken by lies and liars. And this is the same type of person that wants me to believe she's saved. Oh, she's saved all right to Jesus, not Yahusha. And if you really start to dive into faith and draw closer to your maker, you're going to ask him for things like, give me wisdom, give me knowledge, educate me. I want to know what you know. You know, you're my infinite God. What's up? And these people get wrapped into religion. They say they love their maker. They say they've been saved all their lives, but they're wrapped up in a religion. They don't live in their spiritual gifts. They don't work in their spiritual gifts. They don't have any spiritual gifts. Good morning, Morgan. It's good to see you, sweetheart. Welcome. Good morning, Michael. How are you, Robert? It's great to see you, sweetheart. You're such a sweetheart, Robert. You need to know that your friends love you dearly. Okay? And you're beautiful to us. We love you, Robert. Don't forget that. Carmen loves you. All your friends love you, Robert. Stop coming down so hard on yourself. I wish, Michael, that you could see yourself through the eyes of your friend. You are kind. You are considerate. You are overly thoughtful. You go out on a limb for your friends. You're loyal. You have their back. You're dedicated. You put your heart into your friendships. You're a beautiful man and friend and brother in Yahusha. And I'm proud to know you, Michael. And so are the rest of your friends. We don't want to see you coming down on yourself and putting yourself down anymore. You're not ugly to us. And whatever demon makes you feel like that, I bind and cast away that demon in Yahusha's name. I think I have your permission to cast it away, Michael. As long as I have your permission and you love your Savior Yahusha and you're seeking him and you're okay with this and you don't want that demon condemning you anymore, then I can stand in agreement to bind and cast it away from you now in Yahusha's name. Okay. Heavenly Abba, I come. DC's here. Oh my God, DC. Oh, I love you so much. Oh my God, DC, I'll get to you next. I'm so happy to see you. Oh my God, I'm so happy to see you. I don't ever want to lose you. Whatever goes on, there's certain people I can't stand to lose. You're one of them. Now, I lost Safi, but sometimes you got to cut your losses. And that's hard because I love her and her baby dolls, but I'm not going out of my mind over her. I will go out of my mind over you. I really care about you, DC, and I'm so sorry to you, and I do beg your forgiveness because I never meant to hurt you. And I certainly don't mean to hurt Safi or anybody else or anybody else's altars or littles, but I feel that I have to stand for the truth. And it's more than that, what's been happening in the survivor community with the big division that's happened between Shelly and Allie versus everybody else or whatever. There's a big divide in the victim and survivor community. But the thing is that Abba was showing me something and I had a choice. I could stand up for the stuff he was showing me, or I could back down like a coward. And I'm great at backing down like a coward. I'm great at being yellow bellied. I'm great at being scared. I'm great at running away and hiding. I don't want to do that. I want to stand for what I know to be true. And if Abba shows me something, I need to, if I'm going to stand, then he's the best and only thing to stand for. He's perfect and he's our maker and savior. Let me get back to Michael. Heavenly Abba, I lift up Michael, Robert, to you. I ask that you put him in a bubble and keep him invisible to the enemy. When the enemy and minions of the enemy, human beings who worship the darkness, when they come looking for Michael, may they only find you, Yahuwah. In Yahushua HaMashiach's name, I bind and cast away the demon of condemnation, depression, anxiety. I bind and cast away that demon, that bipolar demon. I bind and cast away condemnation, hatred, dislike, contempt against oneself. I bind and cast away that self-loathing and self-hating spirit. Get them out of here. They have no room in Michael's life. Heavenly Abba, I pray that you fill and overflow. Bless, I rebuke myself. Barak and baptize Michael in your Ruach HaKodesh. Please fill and overflow him, and please surround him with your Ruach HaKodesh so these demons stay away from him and stop renting space in his mind. I bind and cast them away in Yahushua's name. Get them out of here. Heavenly Abba, I bind and cast away the nagging, invasive thoughts that are always irritating Michael. And that's coming from the kingdom of darkness too. Get it out of here. Please give Michael peace. Please still his mind, still his heart, and calm him. In Yahushua HaMashiach's name, Selah. Heavenly Abba, please give Michael a good day. Like a good day where he feels like good. You know, like, how can I explain it, Yahuwah? You know when you just feel like you look good? You feel good, you feel like you look good, and just your clothes, you like the clothes you're wearing, you like the way your hair is styled. It just, Abba, I pray for Michael to start having those kinds of days in Yahushua's name, Selah. Wait, what? Wait a minute. Heavenly Abba, please show me what Morgan is talking about. Your Heavenly Abba, I lift up Morgan to you. Please calm her altars. Please calm her altars and still them. Please put them back to sleep comfortably. Please reveal yourself to her altars so they know you're there. And please still them and calm them and bring back her core and have her core forward in Yahushua's name. Please still her altars. I don't know what's going on with your altars, but Yahushua can stop the spinning. And I bind that. Can I cast it away, Morgan? I don't know where you are in your faith, and I don't want to cast away a demon and then that demon grabs 7 of its friends and come back. I don't want to pray something that you're not okay with. But I don't want like MK Ultra or the memories or whatever you've experienced in your past to cause these altars to exist. I don't want that irritating you and spinning. You know, like the altars have a bad health day. I used to call those days when my altars were going through a hard time. I used to call that, oh my gosh, it's Cookie. It's great to see you, sweetheart. It's been a while. I used to call those days when my altars were having a rough day like romp around because they were like all over the place. What I did with my altars, I would tell them, listen, I know that you were used as a spy or to retrieve information or you were sent over to get rid of an entity that doesn't belong on the earth. And all of that's exciting. But Holly needs you. I need to give you guys a different job function. I need one of you to wash dishes. I need one of you to help Holly with the laundry. I need one of you to cook. I need another one of you to clean up the mess. I got to give each one of you a different job function. Now, washing dishes is not as glamorous as being sent off on some assignment or mission, but I need you. And you, if it weren't for you guys, I wouldn't be alive right now. You're me and I'm you, but I need you all to have a different job function. That's when things started to change for me. Thank you, Cookie. Oh, Cookie, I don't know when the last time was that we've seen each other, but guess what, Cookie? Yahuwah does wipe the tears away from our eyes. He did for me. December of the year 2022, Heavenly Abba baraked me. Barak means bless in Hebrew, and I like that word. I just have fun saying it. He baraked me with full reintegration. My altars are gone. So like when I go to sleep now, I go to sleep myself and I wake up myself. Full reintegration is different. I was scared of it at first because I got used to functioning and operating with my altars. But I got full reintegration. Yes, now I know why. Because in 2014, Abba, I wanted a calling from him. And Abba said, I want you to turn over your diary publicly. What? You want me to do what? And he goes, yeah, I do. I need you to face things. I need you to stop running away and stop hiding. Even the dude that collapsed my lung, the fights would continue on for days longer than they needed to because he'd get mad at me that I'd run away when the fights got too verbally over the top. But also when they got too verbally over the top, it became a physical altercation. So when I would see the argument getting to that point, I'd run away. And there was that dude, I just run away, Holly, run away, you baby, run away. It's like, yeah, because I'm going to get beat pretty soon if I don't run away now. No, but Abba told me to put up my diary. And when he gave me full reintegration, that's when it dawned on me, oh, he had me do that so other people could see him work in my life and know that he's still willing and able to do it in their lives. They just have to seek him directly for themselves. Cut out the churches, online ministries, all the evangelists and preachers. Just go to him directly. And if he gets stumped, add fasting. You could fast a meal or you could fast 30 days. You don't need to go past 40 days, okay? Adam did 40 days and Eve would do 37 days. You don't need to go past that. So anyway, I don't want to get into fasting, but yeah. Hey, it's Bonnie Huff. I recently told the story of my full reintegration, how it happened. Abba just surprised me. But I have to say, when I was 39, turning 40, because I had turned to Abba baraked, blessed me with co-consciousness, where when the altars were forward, I was still conscious. I could see what they were saying and doing. You ever, okay, it'd be like my car's and my altars in the car. They'd be in the front seat driving and I'd be in the back seat. I'd still know what was going on, but I was helpless to maneuver the car in any direction. But I was still there along for the ride. Well, for the first 39 years of my life, I was never co-conscious. Heavenly Abba, you see what Heavenly Abba Yahuwah, you see what Morgan's going through and you see what she needs. Abba, I pray it being your will for full curing and healing. And Abba, please have the Ruach HaKodesh hold Morgan tightly in his arm, in your arms, In Yahushua HaMashiach Shem Selah. Now that Ruach HaKodesh, people say Holy Spirit. I don't want to say the word Holy because it goes back to another demon called, I rebuke myself, I'm just going to say the demon's name, Halika. I don't want to summon these entities, so that's why I'm tripping over my words not to say certain ones. But this is just something Abba and I are working on in my walk with him. It's where we're at with each other. I am not trying to dictate to you how to speak, what to say, what words to use, nothing. This is just what I'm going through with him. You guys know you go through stuff with him all the time. Okay, well, I asked him for wisdom, and he told me to pay attention to my words. And when I asked Abba for wisdom, I said, please stay with me because I don't want to get in trouble like Solomon did. I don't, he told me to learn Hebrew, learn some words in Hebrew because that's what he spoke. Anyway, Heavenly Abba Yahuwah, please hold Morgan tightly in your hands in Yahushua's name. Selah. And I bind these demons. Morgan, you can say, I bind and cast away these demons now. Get out of here and don't come back. But you got to mean business, But you can bind and cast away depression. Look at these things that happen to you as a demon. Like there's days where I'm a klutz. Everything's falling out of my hands. I'm bumping my head walking through doorways because I'm not walking straight due to fibromyalgia. And it's like I'm a klutz. Well, I bind and cast away the klutz demon, and then I stop being a klutz. Pray in meantime, yes. And I'd be happy to do that along with you, Morgan. Heavenly Abba, get that demon off of her right now in Yahushua HaMashiach's name. Get the demon off her throat, off her esophagus. Please open up her esophagus and her lungs and her airways and capillaries. And I pray for her heart, her blood and veins, and her lungs to be open. I pray for her circulation in Yahushua HaMashiach's name, Selah. I love praying for you guys. Bonnie, I lift you up to Abba, and Cookie, I lift you up to Abba. Please give Cookie everything that Cookie wants. Give Cookie the luxury she wants and definitely all the spiritual gifts she wants. In Yahushua HaMashiach's name, Selah. Please give that to Bonnie too. All the spiritual gifts she wants. I am now a caregiver to someone, to my friend, my elderly friend who lives below me. I've been her caregiver now since November, but now it's kind of official. I just get her mail, take out garbage if she wants cookies and donuts and chocolate milk. I get it for her. I make sure that she has her dinner. I just heat her dinner up and I bring it into her. Little things. Like I have to cook dinner for myself. So when I cook for myself, I make an extra plate for my elderly lady who lives downstairs, my elderly lady friend. And you know what? It's nice to be needed. And I told her once she has her oil problem resolved and we no longer have to rely on electric heaters, I told her I'm still coming down to your house in the morning and at night. She has a bad habit of canceling appointments. So that's something I have to work out. When the nurses, aides, and shoppers do come to the house, I'm going to have them call me first, and I will walk them into the house. That way she does not have an opportunity to cancel. But I'm a caregiver now. I'm needed. It feels nice to be needed. I've been praying for her family. I've been praying not to be alone. And when I first moved here, I was helping the elderly lady. She has not been able to leave her house since the beginning of 2020. There was a year in there where I had to do that tough love thing to say, listen, you got to make better decisions because you're making it impossible for anybody to help you. And during that year, I could see that she's older. She just doesn't understand things to make the right decision. Like she doesn't understand social services and these services that are available to her. And she's so damn scared that they're going to put her in a nursing home. I don't want to become like Nancy Pelosi either, the Crypt Keeper. You're not going to be like her. You're not going to be like her, Morgan. Just seek Yahusha. Go to your Savior. Just know that Yahusha is actually God in human form. And your Holy Spirit that I've been saying, Ruach HaKodesh, that's him. That's not a separate entity. That is him. It's not his son. It's not his cousin. It's not different, but the same. That's him. Our Abba is infinite. So you and I are finite. We have our body, our soul, and our spirit all in one flesh temple. Yahuwah, because he's infinite, he's on the throne and in physical person, and he has 7 hallowed spirits. He's your golden bow too. Heavenly Abba, I pray it be in your will for Morgan to receive full reintegration. It took me 8 years. Once I realized in 2014 I had altars. By December 2014, I knew I had altars. I didn't know how many. I thought that I had 30 or 33 altars because that's what some of the other super soldiers were saying that I remember being trafficked with. However, that book by Fitz Springmeier, Joseph Mengele had a method to his madness, and he would create 169 altars. But 169 in the occult world means something significant. But plus, the human body has limitations. Your body will give out eventually if you go through too much trauma and torture. That's what I did, Morgan. I fell hopelessly and helplessly in love with my creator. I got to that point where even my altars drove me to the temple because they were sick and tired of being a super soldier. They were sick and tired of being triggered. They were sick and tired of having to call a number and check in with somebody. I caught myself doing that once. I caught one of my altars picking up a phone, my cell phone, dialing a number that I don't know, but the altar did, and talking to someone. Okay, my altars were done. And you know what, Yahuwah? He never lied to me. So, and he's our creator. He went through the same things you and I did. My altars, when my altars read about his crucifixion, it was my altars that said, Holly, he was crucified. He was used as a sacrifice. I was used as a sacrifice, Holly. Don't you remember the SW, one of these SW ranches? They had us tied up, leaving us outside for these entities to come. I don't want to say the full word because I don't want to summon these cryptids. SW, skin, and I'm not going to say the rest of it. I bind and cast that away. Abba, please protect us. I'm not trying to summon these things. I just want to be clear with my friends that are listening about what I'm talking about. In Yahushua's name, Selah. So, what was I saying? My altars were sick of it, but that's right. It dawned on my altars that Yahushua was beaten and used as a sacrifice. Boom! Right then, all of my altars, it was like dominoes. Once that, it was an alpha male altar, as a matter of fact. And I would say it was an alpha male altar in his 30s. Anyway, once that one altar realized, wait a minute, He was beaten. He was probably thrown in a jail, right? Beaten, thrown in a jail. They stripped his clothes off of him. They made fun of him. They made him carry his stake that he was going to be crucified on. And then they literally sacrificed him. And then my altars were like, we were forced to be a part of human sacrifices. We remember those. Wait a minute. Our maker went through that. Well, we went through similar stuff in the dumps. This is what my altars are saying to me at the time, back in 2014 and 2015. Once it really more, wait, I gotta, Morgan, don't feel bad. Don't come down on yourself about that, because I had an altar that told me she was dating an alien. I was like, well, you need to break that off, okay? Catherine! Oh, it's always great to see you, Catherine. How you been? Maybe one time we can talk in private, Morgan. If you'd like, we don't have to. Shout out to Joe wherever she is. That woman's been on my mind. I just want to make sure, Morgan, when I pray for anybody else, that I do a good job and I don't hurt anybody. You know what I mean? Like, even like some of my friends, they come to me and I'm like, well, wait, do you want me to pray that your relationship stays together? Or do you want me to pray for a breakup? Like things like that. Right? When I am stressed, I have a little routine. I go down to the gas station where I know all the attendants and the guys lurking inside. I've been going there for 4 years. And in the mornings, I'll get $1 and I'll go up to my friend from Colombia. I'll buy a cigarette from him. I go in, I'll get a ginger ale, and I'll get my kratom. I don't like doing that. I like to go to the sicko, but typically I make my kratom at home. I buy it on the internet because it's so much cheaper. But I don't know. I don't have a life. I'm always on the computer. I'm always at home alone. So for me to become the lady downstairs, for me to become her caregiver, it gives me reason and value and purpose. It's nice to be needed again. So let's get back to you guys and your altars. But when my altars realized that he was used as a sacrifice, everything just clicked. I could see all the altars just going, what? Oh, I'm a believer. Yahusha did what? Oh, I'm a believer. I just saw it right down the line. So when an altar would pop up, what was done to me was done by our government and military. My altars were created, but they were generic. They did not have names and personalities. They were programmed for a specific reason. Now, typically when somebody is hurt, like at home or school or by a spouse in a traumatic situation, if they have a traumatic situation and an altar is created or an altar is broken off, like your personality splits, because you're left to your own devices, for lack of better terms, you come up with a name for your altar. Your altar has likes, dislikes, and your altar forms a personality, whether it's a fragmented personality or full personality. It's still the same. I've been online for about 10 years. I have bumped into people that said they were abused at the Vatican, but I cannot remember who those people were that was a part of their testimony. I think they had me over in Jerusalem. Like in the parts of Jerusalem that are supposed to be special and hallowed. They had us kids over there. I remember we were in Jerusalem. The place is up online. You can take tours through it. Some people are trying to say that it's the third temple and it's already built, but there's a place inside Jerusalem And they had us kids in there, and these people in Israel were raping us kids. They drowned me in the hot tub that we were in. And I remember one guy coming. I was on the ground. They threw me out of the hot tub. I was on the ground, and I was drowned. And I remember this guy coming up and kicking me in my back and water coming out of my mouth. And when he kicked me in the back and the water came out of my mouth, I was conscious again and I started breathing. But the Vatican, that doesn't surprise me. I believe you. Okay, well, Bonnie, you can just hang out with us and talk to us. You don't have to do anything with your roommate. If you don't want to, you could just talk to us and hang out with us. You know? You might be roommates, but, you know, you don't have to be buddy. You could still keep a little distance, you know? I might be misunderstanding you, Bonnie. Just, you know, hang out with us. Let your roommate do what your roommate does. And you do what you do, and you just hang out with us. And then it doesn't matter what your roommate's doing because you're hanging out with us. I think they do that. I don't know, Morgan, but I think because they would electrocute me. I remember being drowned a few times. I think as far as programming, when like Mangli and the other programmers would drown us, it was to program our soul. And it's to open you up to the spirit realm. I will be here. Oh my God, Morgan. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. Abba, our Abba, he may not have gone through the exact same thing, but he's gone through the same thing we have, Morgan. So you just, okay, let's get back to altar. So every time an altar popped up, I would say, hey, let me introduce you to my golden bow. We're married. And I'll tell you, my altars, they would always, when they popped up, they'd be like, we're married. You're getting a divorce. We're not getting married, Holly. You're getting a divorce, Holly. We're never getting married. What is wrong with you? Literally. Because I was never getting married. It was nothing but an institution. And even when I did get married when I was 25 years old, it only lasted 9 months. And then I filed for extreme cruelty to divorce him. And that's another part of my testimony too, because as a super soldier, I was sent on a mission and my team was caught by the bad guys. One soldier was shot in the gut and killed. The other soldier was thrown out of the airplane. And when I saw this happening, I made my way out of the airplane too. And we came crashing down through the jungle trees, hitting the floor of the jungle, and we died. And I remember the other soldier and I were taken before Heavenly Abba Yahuwah. Yahuwah spoke to David. Yahuwah said some things to David, which I'm not going to repeat. That's between David and Yahuwah only. And he spoke to David. And then he spoke to me. And he said, one day you and I are getting married, Holly. I was like, now this is me talking to my maker when I died, when one of my death experiences. I was like, I'm never getting married. He goes, no, you're going to marry me one day. You're going to want to marry me one day, and you're going to marry me one day. And when you do, all of this super soldier stuff is going to be over. Well, wait a second. Do you know what's going on right now? What the mission we were on? Well, these people, it's not going to stop. You send me back, the war's going to keep going on and on and on. And they're going to keep sending me out in missions. The war's not going to stop. He's like, one day you're going to marry me. And when you do, the super soldier stuff is going to stop. I said, then let's get married now. He goes, no, now's not the time. And at the end of talking to Yahuwah, I remember looking at Dave saying to him, do you know who that was? That's God. Oh my God, that's God. He just said, I'm going to marry him. Well, if I got to get married, I may as well marry a perfect man. So, and he's perfect. He's the only one. I always wanted a perfect man. And that death experience was I think in my early 20s, 19, 20, 21. I'll get to my chat room in a minute. March 2007, I was strangled to death by a guy I was dating. And I died on my kitchen floor. And I remember crying out to God saying, I don't want to die. I repent for my sins. I'm so sorry, Abba. I love you. Well, I landed in hell all right because I was not living in his ways. I thought I was a good person living a good life, but that was by my own standards. That was my own ways. I wasn't living in Yahusha's ways. So he was right. It was right for me to land in hell because I never lived for him. I lived like a typical Christian. That's not the way to go. Yes, Christians do wind up going to hell, and it's because they don't take the time to read Constantine's Creed and look into what a Christian really is. Because to be a Christian, we have to renounce our Savior to be a Christian. And he takes that stuff seriously. This is why each one of us has to be diligent. But when I died March 2007, he came to hell and he carried me out. He brought me back into this world. And when he was carrying me out of hell, right before he pushed me up back into the world, I feel him lower me down, and I feel his breath and voice in my ear. And he says, marry me. Then he pushes me back up into this world. Now I'm back on my kitchen floor. He puts 2 breaths of air in my nostrils. And he says, it's now or never. And I go to sit up and I can't because Brian's still on my chest. I hear the voice again. It's now or never. I read the book of Nehemiah about that. It's now or never stuff. I go to sit up a second time. And that second time, the 2 white arms were at my back again. The same 2 white arms that carried me out of hell. They were at my back and they pushed me up. And because those 2 white arms were at my back, I was able to sit up. Brian fell off my chest, grabbed my hand onto the counter, to the edge of the sink, got myself up on my feet. And the story goes on from there, but I'm going to stop it for now. Hey, it's Renee. Yeah. Oh, wow, Morgan. I'd love to hear more of your testimony. So that's how this whole marrying thing got started. Is it was him. But I'm not his wife. The marrying thing, just look at what a marriage is. That's an intimacy thing, right? You're close with somebody. It's not sex. I have a vow of celibacy. But marriage is a very intimate, it's the most intimate relationship you could have with somebody else. So he became my golden bow and I'm his silver arrow. And I have a vow of celibacy. And through my vow of celibacy, Abba has restored my innocence and purity. He's restored my self-worth and value. And I love my vow of celibacy. In the fire for 4 years because he told me not to pull the trigger. Oh my gosh. Did Did you have to marry Satan as a child? Yes, I did, Morgan. I remember that too. In the Dumbs, when they married me off to Satan. Oh, I remember that. Because in the Dumbs, when they married me off to Satan, that's when Pan kept visiting me. I was 12, 13 years old. And Pan would start visiting me as a young child at night when I was sleeping. He'd wake me up and talk and talk. You know, that little short creature, you know, Pan. So Yahuwah is so great because he takes all of that away from us. Like, I'm always telling him, Abba, only you could understand me. Only you could help me. Only you get this. Like, and I tell him, I'm like, and I've always said this, I was like, Abba, even when I am dead wrong, it's still so easy for me to come to you to be honest with you and say, listen, I'm dead wrong. I really screwed up, and Abba, I'm sorry. Like, you are so easy to talk to. No matter the situation, Abba, you've always been so easy to talk to and be honest with. It's easy to be honest with you. I don't know. He's just a magnificent, perfect man, maker, and companion. And he's definitely majorly misrepresented. He's been vastly misrepresented by the churches and online ministries. You know, these people saying they know him, yet they don't have any spiritual gifts. What the hell is that? Because Yahuwah says miracles follow his people. So if somebody's going, oh yeah, I've been a believer for like 50, 60, 20 years, and there's no spiritual gifts. I know a lot of people that call themselves a prophet and they do not have the gift of prophecy. The gift of prophecy is when you see his return in your dreams. If you've never had a dream where you saw his return, then you're not a prophet, and it is as simple as that. And there's a lot of people running around saying they're a prophet, and they've never had a dream where they've seen him return. I have. He showed me when I was 5 years old in kindergarten, and then again when I was 39, turning 40, and I turned to him, asking him for a calling. He showed me, the first thing he did was he showed me Yahusha's return a second time, and then he told me that I have a song and dance in the Bible. And I remember one Friday night in the year 2013, I was standing in Greg, my attorney, who was my father figure. I was standing in his office. It was 5:30 at night, and I was humming and hawing. And he could tell something was off with me, because I'm like, I was always out of there by 5, you know, but I was humming and hawing and kind of like kicking rocks. Like, you could see there was something on my mind, but I didn't have enough guts to say it, right? So finally I was like, Greg, you've never heard me talk about Jesus ever. I think I told you I believe in him, but you don't hear me talk about this stuff. Greg, I kind of turned to Abba a couple of months ago. Like, I really turned to him. But I'm sticking with it this time, Abba. Or I'm sticking with it this time, Greg. I was like, Greg, I've been getting dreams, and they're vivid. And I've never experienced something like this before to this magnitude. But I was like, Greg, I don't know anything about the Bible. Do you? He goes, yeah, da-da-da. And he was a believer. I said, Greg, what is a song and dance? I've never heard of this. I said, is there a part in the Bible that talks about a song and a dance? I said, Greg, Abba showed me Yahusha's return. And it's the second time in my life I've had this dream. The first time was when I was a little kid. I never forgot. But now I see his return again, and he told me I have a song and dance in the Bible. So Greg runs over to his desk. He gets a Bible and he comes over to my desk and he sits down. He's like, let's do a Bible study. He opened up the book to Revelation. And there's a story in Revelation that talks about these 144,000 people having a song and dance that no one could learn, that no one can learn. But they know this song and dance, and they do this song and dance before Heavenly Abba. And I'd never heard of a song and dance until Yahuwah told me. I want to see his return. I want to live like it. So, yeah, I'm happy to have a vow of celibacy. I'm happy to stay away from men, drugs, music. I'm not perfect. I slip up on the music. But I got all the other parts right. I'm good at denying all that stuff. Once in a while, I like a song or two. But I want to live right. I want to live in his ways because I want to see his return. That's the one thing I want so much. If I had to go through those DUMBs and the MK Ultra and Super Soldier projects, since I made it through that, the one thing I ask is, I want to make it to the end of the 7-year tribulation. I want to see his return. I want to make it to the end. Now, I don't know that that's going to happen, but I'm going to try my heart out. The Walmarts. I'm skiing with you? Oh my gosh, Renee, thank you. I'm living vicariously through you. I'm on top of a mountain with Renee. Yes. Yes. Are we going down? Moguls. You got to hit the moguls. Do you like moguls? Renee's like, I'm busy right now. Oh my gosh. I have not been skiing in 10 years. Over 10 years. I can't remember last time I went skiing. We used to go night skiing all the time. I loved it. I don't believe in the rapture. I don't. And dealing with that rapture business was hard. But I don't believe in a rapture. Not pre, not mid, not post. There is no rapture. Anyway, I wanted to have a heart-to-heart with you guys because of what's been happening. There's this one lady, Susan, on Facebook that is having fun telling me off. I left her comments public. I cannot believe that this one woman, Susan, has audacity to speak to me, a survivor like that. Now, meanwhile, this lady is running off and protecting the fakes, frauds, and liars. I have met more fakes, frauds, and liars lying about being trafficked than I have met actual, real trafficked survivors. It seems like anybody who's mentally ill, instead of being honest with you and me to tell us, yes, I'm paranoid, schizophrenic, instead they drop the truth and then they come to you and me saying that they're a targeted individual or they're MK Ultra. You can tell if somebody's MK Ultra or not by what they say, and what Shally and Ellie say is not MK Ultra, and it is clear to anybody that knows anything. Now, obviously, they never read Fitz Springmeier's book. It's obvious that they were never trafficked in the first place. But to say, oh, she was programmed with bathtubs and closets and somebody came in and raped her in a closet, so now that's MK Ultra programming. No, it's not. That's not how it's facilitated. What that is you let somebody come into your house and rape your kid. Where's the police report? That ain't MK Ultra. So this lady, Susan, on Facebook, how she's speaking to me is disgusting and atrocious. And she also calls herself a Christian. Well, I definitely believe she's a Christian, because if you read Constantine's Creed, that explains what a Christian is. You have to renounce your Savior to be a Christian. And she's acting like she hates her Savior. I'm telling you, go read Constantine's Creed. Constantine's Creed says that Christianity is false teachings and pagan traditions. And you have to renounce Yahushua HaMashiach and his ways to take up the Roman Empire religion. And it's the Roman Empire religion that has the cross. Oh, good. Then good, Cookie. Then you never got tricked by the frauds, fakes, and liars. Even that guy, Brian, I've met him. That's paranoid schizophrenia. That is not being a targeted individual. When people are living on the road running, oh, there's death threats. Oh, they're coming after me. That's paranoid schizophrenia. They are not whistleblowers. They are not under death threat. That is a mental illness. They need to get off the internet and go to a professional. These people that say they're targeted individuals, it sounds, they get popularity to say that they're a targeted individual, where they don't get popularity if they tell you the truth and say it's paranoid schizophrenia. To actually meet a real deal victim, it's like trying to find a needle in the haystack, because you get all the people that are bipolar, PTSD, paranoid schizophrenic, trying to say that they're targeted. Everybody's out to get them. They got to live on the road running. They say things like, oh, the government military sits outside my house pointing direct energy weapons at me. Whenever I go to the store, they're waiting for me and trailing behind me. Yo, the government is not going to spend a ton of money and time following you, me, or anybody else around. You and me got nothing that the government wants. And so long as I keep my mouth shut about who the programmers are, I've got nothing to worry about. They don't want me. I don't have anything that they would want. So for these people like Shelly and Allie to sit there and say they're under death threat. Oh, well, Allie exposed the Biden administration and we can't live in one place like normal people. We got to live on the run. I exposed Biden and Hunter. I gave Trump my testimony about being trafficked. I gave Trump, as a sitting president, my testimony about George Bush Sr., Jr., Hillary Clinton, and Barack Obama. I don't have to live on the run. So whatever the hell Allie and Shelly are talking about, it's all made up lies. Now, you people, you listeners, say you got the gift of discernment, but you can't discern that. You guys just take whatever's thrown at you and believe it like it's fact. You don't test spirits. You don't pray with fasting. And you prove that you don't have the gift of discernment, especially if you're believing in these fakes, frauds, and liars. What Allie says is nothing but lies. She needs to go home to her biological mother that loves her and stop with these lies and shenanigans. Just listening to Allie, everything she says is not MK Ultra. That's not how it works. And I think it's pretty shitty of everybody where you guys will sit there and listen to Allie lie about her biological mother, but you guys won't give Miss Outlaw a moment to speak and defend herself? That's not right. That's not fair. You want people to listen to you, right? You want a chance to defend yourself and prove your point, but nobody will give you the time of day, because they're busy listening to somebody lie about you? That's not fair to Miss Outlaw, and that is not right. That woman's been looking for her daughter, but hasn't been able to find her daughter because her daughter changed her name. And now that she finally found her daughter, she hears all these lies coming out her daughter's mouth. She was never raped by Joan Rivers. The second Allie named Joan Rivers, I knew dead set for fact she was a blatant, rotten liar. The liars get the prayers. The liars get the friendships. The liars get everything. And then the real victims are left out in the cold. The way people have spoken to me on Facebook about this stuff, they don't know their knee from their elbow. And it's really disheartening. But the way they speak to me, they're going to defend Allie. You're going to defend a lie and a liar. You know what? I don't have room in my life for lies and liars. I don't know how to love liars, and I'm not trying to learn. When they want to repent and start telling the truth, I'll love them. But until then, no. This has all gotten out of hand. Shelly and Allie should have been stopped years ago. All of this is out of hand. And those thousands of people that follow them, they should have stopped this a lot sooner. I hope that the statute of limitations is still good and Miss Outlaw can sue CPS and Shelly for what they did. They hid Allie for a year playing games. I hope CPS and Shelly are held liable for breaking apart Miss Outlaw's family. Because that's not right. That's not right. The hell I went through to deprogram for MK Ultra, and here comes somebody along lying about it, never going through that hell, never being raped, never being programmed, never being kept in a cage, never being electrocuted, never having gone through it. For us real survivors, it's upsetting. It's aggravating. It makes us mad. And you got to be a sick, twisted person to lie about being raped in the first place. You're a sick, low person to do that in the first place. There's obviously something wrong with you. It's probably demonic possession to lie about stuff like that, to lie about being trafficked. And there's a lot of liars out there. There's a lot of people that are simply mentally sick. But they tell you they're targeted. They tell you that they're trafficked because then you go, oh, I'm so sorry. And you give them attention. They don't care that it's based on a lie that they're getting attention. They just want your attention, your prayers, your money, your energy. And meanwhile, they don't deserve it because they're lying about who they are. Safi's one of them. Yes, she is. She's helped a lot of people, right? Everything that girl has said has been a lie about MK Ultra. None of it's real. There's no Abyss programming. There's no Labyrinth programming. What the hell is that? Now there's Looking Glass, Mannequin, Alpha, Beta, Delta. All this other stuff is not true. Yes, she's a nice girl, but you and I gotta be reminded of the blaring red flag that's smack dab in front of us. She has done nothing but give us false names this entire time. So for somebody to be giving you and I a false name, I don't trust them. Oh, well, I can't come forward. I'm risking my life doing what I'm doing. You're not doing anything. What, because you give counsel to people that were really trafficked? That doesn't put you in danger. It puts the trafficked person in danger. I actually lived it. You don't think I'd be able to tell when somebody's lying and did not go through it themselves? You get people like Safi, oh, I'm a bloodliner. No, you're not. Stop it. I can see all on you that you're not. When somebody's actually a bloodliner, serpent seed bloodline, with my eyes, I can see it. I can look at you and see you are a bloodliner. And if you're saying that you're a bloodliner and you're not, I'll be able to see, literally, that you're a big fat liar. Big fat liar. Is that why people lose their teeth? Because they got so many lies coming out of their mouths that it rots their teeth? I don't know. I think it's a valid question to ask. But coming from a real survivor, yeah, it pisses me off to watch these people sit there and lie about it. Why? Because the vast the majority of the population just does not know about MK Ultra to begin with. They don't know about being trafficked to begin with. And they're not doing research. They're just listening to somebody throw something at them. And because their heartstrings are being pulled on, oh, well, I wouldn't think to question her. I mean, obviously, look, she's crying. Something had to have happened. Stop making excuses for the liars, and I'll start doing the same thing. I'll stop. And you know what? I will start to stand up to the liars. And when I don't believe them, I'm going to tell them, I don't believe you. I think you're mentally ill and you're trying to tell me you're targeted. You're trying to tell me you're super soldier, but you're not. And that's another thing. I ask people, well, tell me, where were you? How were you trafficked? Who were you with? How did they get you? And the stories just don't make sense. It's because nobody's breaking into their house while they sleep at night, taking them out. It's all lies. And you can tell by the way they tell the story and what they say in the story. Go watch Max Spears. Go watch Casbolt's videos. Go watch McCollum and Perrin's videos about their testimony. Go to Rumble and BitChute. Those testimonies are still up there that they gave like 15 years ago. Go listen to those testimonies. You'll hear a real victim. But what you got in Shelly and Allie is not MK Ultra and trafficked victims. It's a mother-daughter team that are pathological liars. I can only hope that Allie gets senses about her and decides to drop the shenanigans and go home to her mom to live in a house with her mom that loves her and sisters that love her, instead of sleeping in a car with some old white lady lying about crap. I'll tell you what, that old white lady did not help black-white relations one damn bit. And I'm horrified to think of what that woman did, breaking apart Miss Outlaw's family. Oh, the way Allie talks about her culture and her background is how I should be talking about my culture. I should be putting down white people for doing that kind of crap. Yeah, Shelly was looking for a meal ticket, a free meal ticket. There's Allie. I'll tell you what, I bumped into Allie and Shelly about 2020, and I could never watch their videos. Oh my God, I don't even know what I was looking at when Allie was on Facebook running her live streams. Like, what is this? Is this girl on drugs? Because what she's talking about is not being trafficked. I was trafficked, and I don't know what this girl's talking about. Like, I could tell she was lying. The first time I ever heard truth. Now, I met them back in 2020. The first time I heard truth was last week when I took the time to listen to Miss Outlaw. When I listened to Miss Outlaw, that was the first time I heard truth about Shelly and Allie. And I gave Miss Outlaw at least 3 full days, listening to what she said, praying to Abba, testing the spirits, and listening to her. And then I even spent time listening to Shelly and Allie. Oh my God. My heart goes out to Miss Outlaw. What that woman and her family have suffered is atrocious. Just absolutely atrocious. I think because Miss Outlaw would not let Allie run the streets, that's why Allie started pulling these stunts that she pulled, using CPS as the avenue to get away from her biological mother, because she just wanted to run the streets and do whatever she wanted to do. Liars affect the real whistleblowers, the real people telling the truth. And that's how I feel. That's my heart to heart with you, is that this is the last straw. This situation I'm going to make an example out of. Yahuwah brought Ali and Shelly to my attention because I have a choice. I can stand for the truth or I can keep cowering down. I'm done cowering to fakes, frauds, liars. I'm tired of cowering to the kingdom of darkness. No more. I'm not backing down. Yahuwah brought this to my attention, and I'm standing up because there's real victims out there that need you. There's real victims out there that need your friendship. There's real victims out there that'll tell you the whole truth and nothing but the truth. And they wouldn't think to do anything other than that. What about the real victims that were really trafficked and really MK Ultra'd? What about them? They need you guys, not Shelly and Allie. They're two healthy adults that should be out there working a full-time job, making a paycheck, not relying on you guys to give them money. I'd love to have a safe house, but I can't. Because out of 10 people that say that they've been trafficked, only one of them's telling the truth. Everybody's a targeted individual now. The government is spying on everybody. Listen, the targeted individuals want you to think that it's only them targeted and they're just so special above and beyond everybody else. They're just so wanted and people are after them. No, that's a mental illness. Okay? You, me, your kids, your animals, your friends next door, your friends over in your over in the other town, your family members over in another state, over in another country, all of you are being targeted. It's not just that certain group of people over there that say they're targeted individuals. They're a bunch of mentally sick people. The truth of the matter is all of us, whether you were trafficked or not, doesn't matter. You are being pelted with all the frequencies coming off of Gwen Towers. Make sure to stay hydrated. Make sure to do parasite detoxes, heavy metal detoxes. Make sure to get your vitamins and mineral. Make sure you stay hydrated, guys. It's really important to stay hydrated and do your detoxes and stay on your health. Now, the Georgia Guidestones were ripped down. The Georgia Guidestones were put up because evil minions, people that are in cahoots with Lucifer and the kingdom of darkness, they want to bring the population down to 500 million. They told us what they're going to do. If you and I don't stand up, then it's your and my fault for not standing up to stop them. Now they ripped down the Georgia Guidestones, and all of their plans to get the population down to 500 million are now full swing, underway, and the population is decreasing. All of these fires coming from the drones, that's the new way that wars are fought. I don't know what's wrong with you and me that we did not shoot down those drones. I was talking to a bunch of farmers out here one morning, and I thought that they were serious and meant business. No, they just like all the other pulpits, talk, and never walk. You know what? I'm going to shut up. I'm not talking. I'm just going to walk. I suck at talking anyway. But the liars hurt the children. The liars hurt the people that are trafficked. Don't sit there crying about, oh, it's about the kids, and meanwhile, you're lying yourself. If it was about the kids, you would not be lying. Oh, well, if you can't, I know that you hate Allie, but we got to come together for the kids. Great. Now you're using threatening and bullying tactics to guilt people into listening to you because they think, oh, well, if I turn off Allie, then obviously then I don't support the kids. No, if you turn her off, you're not supporting liars. That's all you're doing is not supporting liars. You can still support the kids. You can still get involved. You can do a lot. You don't need to be tuned into them to do something for the kids, elderly, orphaned, or widowed, or destitute and disabled. You don't need me. You can walk out your front door, find an elderly person or a vet, and start helping them. You could find kids in your neighborhood and, I don't know, go out and coach them basketball. Go out, strap on your rollerblades and go out rollerblading with them. Get to know them. You want to do something, turn off the internet and go outside and say, Abba, bring people to me. Bring them to me. I'll help them. I'll pray for them. And he'll bring them to you. You can do so much. Just start by praying and Abba will guide you and those doors will open. I remember getting into it with Safi a couple of times about the programming, about MK Ultra programming. And I kept telling her, I'm like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I'm from Project Mannequin and you're talking about Porcelain Doll. There's no project called Porcelain Doll. Like, you're just making this shit up. I come from Project Mannequin. I come from Project Alpha. There's not Project Abyss and Labyrinth and Project Closet and Project Bathtub. You don't even know what you're talking about. My problem is I got a lot of problems that I got to solve. But one less problem I got is I'm no longer cowering to lies. I'm going to stand up, and when something doesn't sound right, I'm going to say, this doesn't sound right. Either you were lied to and we got to get rid of that lie, or you're intentionally lying. And I'm going to need to know the difference. But you and I, all of us, we're being pelted by Gwen Tower frequencies. They make our ears ring. Everybody's ears is ringing. Everybody is going through radiation coming off these drones and off these Gwen Towers. Everybody's going through it. It's all of us collectively. You, your friends, your family, your acquaintances, whether you're in the U.S. or somewhere else, you are targeted because they're bringing the population down to 500 million. So it's not just some small group of people. It's everybody worldwide. That's the truth of it. Maybe about 20 years ago, it could have been just a certain group of people being targeted, but that's not the case anymore. We're all going down. We're all going down. You and I, the choice that you and I have to make is, how are we going down? Because I'll tell you what, I'm going down making a lot of noise, screaming my lungs out, banging the drums, blowing horns, stomping my feet, clamping my hands. I'm making a ruckus, and I am fighting my ass off. Yeah, I talked to Trump. I gave him my testimony. Wait, I love moguls doing... What's a kangaroo swing turn? Oh, Renee. Abba, I'm going to go play the lottery. I know, Abba, I had a feeling to play the lotto last night. But, Abba, can I play the lotto? And if I win money, first of all, 50% of whatever I get, I'm going to give it to all my friends. I've got like 2,700 on Facebook, about 5,000 on YouTube, and a couple hundred on other platforms. I'll share 50% of them, but I want to take some money and go skiing with Renee. I want Renee to show me a kangaroo swing turn in Yahushua HaMashiach's name, Selah. Yeah, in 2018 on Twitter, I gave my testimony. I called it Pizzagate, which Pizzagate, that terminology Pizzagate comes from QAnon. QAnon was just like Shelly and Allie. QAnon took you guys away from the victims. Now you're paying attention to QAnon and the victims are forgotten. And the victims never told you. The victims already told you everything. QAnon did not tell you anything more or beyond what the victims had already said. I know, because I gave you guys my testimony and then suddenly QAnon pops up and all you guys are coming back to me going, oh yeah, QAnon said the same thing you did. QAnon said the same thing you did. Well, why don't you start trusting Yahuwah's plan instead of QAnon's plan? And why don't you keep praying with the real victims and doing what you're doing? You don't need this QAnon. All Q did was take you guys away from the victims. And what's Allie and Shelly doing? Getting you guys to yell at me because I refuse to believe their lies? I, for one, as a real victim, now turned survivor, I'm pissed. I am pissed off. And I'm not scared of you people anymore. You know what? I proudly do not have an army. Do you know what I have? I have Yahuwah. And I have Yahuwah's people. That's what I have. I don't have a bunch of people running over to Holly Baglio, giving her a hard time over my lies. And what these people say on Facebook is disgusting. It really is disgusting. You're telling me off when I'm a real survivor, and meanwhile, Allie was never trafficked, and you're siding with her against me? What's wrong with you people? And this is how you treat me based on Allie and Shelly's lies? That's how you treat me. And I'm the real survivor here. They're not. And then to boot, you guys are going to tell me that you have faith, but yet you treat me like that? This is my heart to heart with you guys. What is wrong with you? Listen, I came here with 0 friends. I'm not allowed to leave. I'm not afraid to leave alone. Now, there's people I absolutely love and I want in my life, but I am not going to have those people in my life based on a lie. And to be spoken to the way I was spoken to by people on Facebook, you're not helping anybody. You're not helping anybody. And I'm not scared of you people. I've got friends in the military, and my one friend called me the other day and baracked me. My friend, he goes, you know, I read your book. I was like, get out, you did? No. He goes, yeah, Holly, I told you. I was like, oh, I thought you only made it like halfway through. He's like, no, I made it all the way through. He's like, Holly, you got this. He goes, you got this. You're strong, you're smart, and it feels emotionally difficult, but you got this. Don't let these people scare you. Now, I really have risked my life to give you my testimony. But I'm really a victim. And more than that, Yahuwah's hand is on me. Everybody sees that. And yet, you're going to speak to me in a derogatory way because I'm standing up to liars. And you're ignoring the whole fact that Yahuwah's hand is on me. And he's the one that's moving me and telling me what to say. And You're going to still treat me like crap based on somebody else's lies? I don't expect to see you guys in eternity. I really don't. See, because there's this thing called a great falling away. There is not a great awakening. If people do wake up, they're not going towards the truth. They're going towards the lies. There's a great falling away. You're going to see more people fall away from the truth than you see people go towards the truth. What's the truth? The truth is Yahusha. Obeying the 10 commandments, being in him, living in his ways. Anything outside of his ways is not going to be covered in the blood of the Lamb, and it's not of him. He has his ways set. But for these people to jump down my throat because I'm calling out liars, that is not right. I'm really a victim turned survivor. And I can't believe these so-called believers are going to treat me the way they do. I'm doing you guys a favor. Moreover, I don't want your blood on my head, so I'm not going to land in hell just to make you guys happy. If you guys want to land there, go right ahead. I'm not following you. You want to believe in lies? You want to turn away from the truth? That's on you. I'm going to stand for the truth. And Abba told me, well, he didn't tell me, but Abba showed me the truth about Shelly and Allie, and I had a decision to make. I could go with Yahuwah, or I could ignore what he was telling me. And I could stay in a group of liars, fakes, and frauds, and I would have the praise of all of these liars. I'd probably have like 2,000 friends right now, but instead I lost 2,000 friends because I called Shelly and Allie out. Well, I'd rather lose 2,000 people than to be in their lives having to be forced to swallow and guzzle down their lies. Because that's all it is being forced. You either go along with their lie or they don't like you. You're an outcast. You're wrong. And then they're all against you. This is not a smear campaign against Shelly and Allie. They're being called out for lying. That's a big difference. Big difference. I can poke holes in her testimony like Swiss cheese solely by using the truth. I don't know how thousands of people watch their videos. It's beyond me how you guys sit through that. I make pretty bad videos, but I mean, you guys can sit through my videos. I can't take I literally can't take 2 minutes of listening to either one of them talk. And then Shelly always has to have out that spiral ring notebook in order to give a testimony. Yeah, because that's where all the lies are kept. When Allie was 12 years old, she wasn't trafficked. She was in her mother's care. I think that's a really crappy thing that Shelly and Allie have done to you and me, but mainly against Miss Outlaw. That woman, she's speaking the truth. I'm glad she came forward. But this situation has to come to pass, and I need to move on and forward. But I wanted to have this heart-to-heart with you guys because I'm not taking down my post. I'm not changing my mind. I'm standing for the truth that Yahuwah himself showed me about Shelly and Allie, and I'm not going to cower down or back down. I am a real survivor. I am a real survivor. I was really trafficked. I was really put through human hunting parties. I was really kept in a cage. I was really MK Ultra'd. I was really on black operations of the military, 37 years service, walking through a Seagate. I'm not lying. And the fact that people would lie about stuff like this proves that they're sick. And I want no part of it. And the people listening to it, guys, I got to question you too. Well, that guy's here all the time. Even in the winter, huh? You get to know people around the neighborhood just from walking here. I don't know. I really don't know. So I don't want to base things on lies. But I'm not going to sit here and let Susan or Safi or anybody else speak to me the way that they have. I'm not going to tolerate it. There's way too many red flags with Shelly and Allie. I'm surprised that this has gone on for so many years. I'm surprised that somebody has not called Shelly and Allie out a lot sooner. Because everything they say is just an utter lie, and you can tell it's a lie. I can, because I was really trafficked. I can't believe that thousands of people let it go this long and never stopped Shelly and Allie and said, listen, you guys really need to get professional help. Okay. You don't even have Yahuwah. You're not turning to him. You're doing your Sunday worship, sure, but you're worshiping the sun. You're not going to heal from worshiping the sun. You don't even have Yahuwah. At least go get a professional who's based in the truth and can help you and your mental illness. Or stop. I mean, oh my gosh. What they're doing damages the real survivors and victims. They're not helping the kids. They're not thinking about the kids. They're not helping any adult, let alone save a child. Oh, but they're bringing awareness. Stop with that. If you were diligent, you would have already been aware and not needed them to bring it to your attention. If you were diligent. Demons will capitalize on what you don't know. That's why you and I both have to be diligent. I've had demonic attacks where I couldn't figure it out. And it was not until I educated myself on a topic and learned the truth that I was like, oh, you demons are attacking me based on that. Well, now I know the truth, so get out. But I had to learn about the topic first, learn the truth, and then get rid of them that way. It's so easy for people to lie and say they were trafficked. It's so easy to hide in this field, hide in the field of being a trafficked victim. It's mental illness that does stuff like that, that makes a person lie about being trafficked and raped. Either that or they're really driven by money and they're willing to do whatever it takes to get that money. And the most disturbing thing about Allie is this. I looked at her childhood pictures and I saw her pregnant in some of those pictures. Where's the baby? I'll tell you what happened with mine. I was an asshole. Me and the boyfriend walked myself into an abortion clinic twice, and then a boyfriend gave me plan B. So 3 times I made the wrong decision. I was used, second to that, I was used a part of the breeding projects. So the Rothschild that paid Mangley a lot of money to create me would have on a technicality been my daddy, right? Well, he impregnated me, and when I gave birth to that baby, he sacrificed it right then and there upon delivery. I fought to stop it, but I failed. I was, I don't know, about 13 years old, and that's when I locked myself away. And it was about that time. I mean, I was destroyed and ruined after that. That was in the DUMS, the breeding projects. Why am I going this way? I wanted to go to the store. They're not even open yet. Oh, yeah, they are. It's 8 o'clock, after 8. So when that happened to me in the DUMS, the rest of my life on the surface of the earth, I just made horrible, rotten mistakes. And I've repented, and I still repent. And it's taken me a lot. So that's where my kids are. And that baby, I'm going to tell the rest of you something else I've been waiting a long time to tell you rotten people. How dare you rotten people say that the baby, the little boy I gave birth to when I was 13 years old was a demon or an alien. How dare you rotten people say that? You people that say you're Christians, oh, you're Christian, all right, because to be a Christian, you have to renounce your Savior. You don't even know about your own damn religion. You think it's good, but it's not. Everything that you and I have been taught is a sheer, utter lie. Everything. But for you people to come along and say, oh, you were used a part of the breeding projects, you were giving birth to aliens, you rotten mutts, may the same measure you've given me be given back to you. That was a human life that was murdered that day by that Rothschild. So by the time I was an adult in my normal, regular life, I was taught that, you know, the fetus was a parasite. But no, life begins at the moment of conception, and your baby feels that abortion. I'll tell you, when I saw those pictures of Allie being pregnant, that was it. That was it for me. I'm about saving the kids. But first, you got to make sure the adults are healthy to begin with before they can even help a kid. I'm not a counselor, guys, and I don't want to be a counselor. I don't. If you want help getting rid of demons, call me. I love getting rid of demons. You want prayers? You want a shoulder? Sure. I'm not a counselor, and I don't want to be. And no offense, I'm not going to sit here and waste my time counseling a bunch of liars who want to pass themselves off as being trafficked or pass themselves off as being a super soldier, and they're not. Give me the real victim who actually wants to do the work. And then I'll bend over backwards for you. But to get that actual real victim who really wants to do the work, there was some person that called me up one time years ago. It was a case that came across my desk, and I'm talking to the person, and the person says to me basically, Holly, just get rid of the demons, okay? Just get rid of the demons. I give you permission, get rid of them. I was like, that's great. Thank you. But I'm not going to get rid of them. You have to do the work. And until you stop having same-sex affairs, these demons, until you stop doing that, these demons are always going to be there. So for me to cast them away, they're just going to get 7 of their worst buddies and come back. You might have 3 demons, but by the time, when I get rid of them, because you want to stay in that same-sex relationship, those 3 demons I get rid of, they're all going to go get 7 of their worst buddies, come back, and now you're going to have a problem that's 21 times worse than originally it was. I can get rid of them, but the problem is you got to stop having same-sex relations, but also you're not supposed to be having sex outside of wedlock. And it's only a man and woman that can get married. I can't do anything until you want to make a vow of celibacy. If you want to make a vow of celibacy, I can help you. But until then, I can't do anything. Because to get rid of these demons that you got, you're going to have to fast, but now you're going to have to walk in his ways, not walking in your ways. I love you, but my hands are tied. Like, you don't know how much I love you and I want you in my life. I want you to be my brother in Christ and one of my best friends. I want you in my life, but my hands are tied. I can't do anything until you want to walk in his ways. I'm not saying stop being friends, but I'm saying stop having sex. And then you can get rid of these demons. I've seen demons. Oh my God. I mean, I've really seen a lot of people lie about being trafficked. Like, if people have something strange happen in their life, they automatically go, oh, I'm an MK Ultra survivor. And meanwhile, they've never been exposed to MK Ultra. They've been exposed to programming. Every time we turn on a video game or a movie or TV or read a newspaper, we're being subjected to programming. We're all being programmed to a point, religiously programmed, dumbed down, indoctrinated. That's across the board, though. And that's not being an MK Ultra survivor. That's being subjected to this world and the filth in it. And we have a choice, join it or eradicate it. But I'll tell you, everything that's going on the home front, and me being a caregiver now to my elderly lady friend, it's really put some things in perspective. You know, what's important and what's not important. And all this MK Ultra stuff, it ruined my life. It did not make it better. I remember in 2014, I couldn't even talk. But there my attorney and I were sitting there. We discussed it a few times, and I said, Greg, I got to be able to sleep at night. I got to tell the public what's happening. They got to know. If it wasn't for Yahuwah, I would have never come forward. And any victim in their right mind would never come forward. They would not be on the internet talking about it. Any victim would be trying to put as much distance and space between them and their trauma as possible. So what I'm doing is a calling. I was called to do what I'm doing. I'm not doing it for popularity. I'm doing it because you, me, they, and them. I want us to have the truth. We've been lied to about everything. We believe in nothing but lies. That's how corrupt the world is. So for me to show you my drawings of the cages and discuss with you what it was like being kept in a cage, sucked. Regular lab rat. Stuck in a cage, no clothes, no food, no water, no nothing. You're in a cage. And that was my childhood when I was in the dumps. Strapped down to the Montauk chair, strapped down to some gurney, tubes coming out of me, them pumping drugs into me. The drugs would increase the pain, so paper cut would feel like a shotgun wound. They use different kinds of drugs. Some drugs would enhance the mental abilities. And then you had a drug called scopolamine. And so what Ali and Shelly talk about, that is just simply not MK Ultra. It's just not. I think Stu Peters needs to have Miss Outlaw on. And Stu Peters needs to make an example out of these fakes, frauds, and liars so they stop being fakes, frauds, and liars. What about the real deal victims? We're just chopped liver. We don't freaking matter, right? And to get back at us, Shelly and Ali, oh, it's a smear campaign. No, it's not. You're lying. Big fat liars. Big fat commandment breakers. And people are mad at me? I'm not the one that lied. I'll tell you, this victim is pissed off. The audacity of people to lie about MK Ultra, SRA, DID, Joan Rivers. It's disgusting. The second that kid said Joan Rivers' name, that was it for me. When I saw that kid start saying Tupac was her father, that's when I was like, what is wrong with the viewer? Every time in my 50 years of life, every time somebody came forward claiming that they were a love child of a famous celebrity, the blood test always proved that they were a liar. And here we see Shelly and Ali doing it, but that's okay? No, it's not okay. It's a lie. And they've stuck with it. They should have been stopped then and there. But they weren't. And people want to get mad at me? That ain't right. As far as being a real victim, I'm angry at Shelly and Ali for all of their lies because it's detrimental. It works against the very things I'm trying to do, the very things that Yahuwah has me and the other victims doing. I am a spokesperson for victims and survivors. I am a mouthpiece for the community, even though I'm not a part of it. But I'm the real deal. I really lived it. And here comes these two lying about it. That's disgusting, putrid, and horrible. They're going to have to answer to Yahuwah because they're not helping the kids. They're not helping the kids. They're not helping victims. They're not helping adults. They're not helping anybody. They're working against even helping themselves by telling all of these lies. I really hope Ali comes to her senses and she goes home to her biological mother who loves her, who really does care about her. All right, on that note, guys, thanks for letting me have my heart-to-heart with you. But I am not putting up with people speaking to me the way Susan and Safi and some others have spoken to me. How dare you? Safi, you weren't trafficked to begin with. You need to start being honest yourself. And as far as people like Susan, I'm telling you, I'm not putting up with you treating me like that. And I am Yahuwah's people. I'm one of his people. I know I am.